can fly.
Run.
Our group chose SME company that's situated in Universiti Utara, Malaysia, which is V-Mart. V-Mart is a convenience store located in Universiti Mall UUM in Sintok, Kedah. This store sells household items, toiletries, groceries, stationeries, and other supplies that are a student's need. Around 15 to 20 employees are working there in the V-Mart. Here, our group chose this store because it is easy for us to reach since it is situated on the campus itself. Besides that, we thought it would be quite convenient for us to communicate with the workers there since we are familiar with them as we frequently purchase things there. The most common hazard that can be found in the V-Mart is the slip hazard. Slip occurs where there is insufficient traction or friction between the walking surface and the footwear. There was a very clear slip hazard that was found in the V-Mart, especially in the area of goods. This slip hazard occurs there due to the water spills. Therefore, there is a high chances for the customers or the workers to fall after getting into contact to the water on the floor. The slip risk assessment and prevention process can be completed with three key steps, which are to identify areas, assess slip risk, and prevent slip risk. Firstly, identify areas. Finding manageable region of a workplace could be the first step in a slip risk assessment procedure. Failing to identify or acknowledge hazards that are present or may have been expected is one of the root causes of workplace diseases, accidents, and incidents. For example, carry out initial and routine workplace inspection to find new or recurring hazards and look into incidents, injuries, illness, close calls, and so on. Next, assess slip risk. Three slip risk factors are typically involved in slips, which are slippery surfaces, contamination, and pedestrian. Based on the hazard identification in V-Mart, there are slippery hazards because of the wet floor. Hence, there is a high possibilities for the customers who enter the V-Mart to slip due to the wet floor. This is because there was no caution signs that indicate the wet floor for the customers to be aware of. Almost all slip and fall incidents involve contamination, which includes anything that spills onto a floor like rain, oil, dust, and other materials. Risk assessment for possible pedestrian slip hazard should consider behavior, footwear, and access. Lastly, prevent slip risk. Assess slip resistance before and after treatment for slippery surfaces controls and evaluate the results regularly to make sure the resistance persists. It's possible that newly treated or resurfaced pedestrian surfaces may call for all new cleaning schedules. Therefore, the organization and employers need to pay attention to prevent slip risks from happening. A change in the unintentional or unexpected contact between the feet and the ground or walking surfaces causes both slips and trips. These facts demonstrate the importance of maintaining proper housekeeping, choosing appropriate footwear, maintaining a safe walking pace, and having high quality flooring to prevent fall incidents. For instance, cleaning up spills right away or labeling wet spots and spits. The next step in preventing trips and falls is to alter or modify walking surfaces. Additional measures to increase safety and lower the risk of falling include repainting or replacing floor, putting in mats, pressure sensitive abrasive strips, or abrasive fill paint on coatings, and using metal or synthetic decking. Furthermore, non-slip flooring helps to prevent or lessen foot fatigue and is a contributing factor to anti-slip measures. In workplaces where the floors may be oily or wet, or where workers spend a significant amount of time outside, fall prevention should center on selecting appropriate footwear. Since there is no footwear with anti-slip properties for every conditions, professional manufacturers should be consulted. Properly fitting footwear increases comfort and prevent fatigue, which improves employee safety.
Good day everyone, I'm Shamla Chandra, metri number 281079. The hazard that I found in this V-Mart supermarket was a falling hazard while working, preparing, lifting and also moving stock. Falling is a frequent hazard causing severe workplace accident and also death. Hence, it is crucial for employers to implement suitable precaution within the workplace to minimize the risk of employees encountering falls, particularly dangerous for workers who stand at least 4 feet above using ladders, scaffolding, or any lifting or any heavy tools. Therefore, employees and the management can check the latest safety program to gain more knowledge to prevent falls while working. There are 3 stages in risk assessment. Number 1 is to carry out a risk assessment is to identify potential hazard in your workplace. This include tasks like working on roof, elevated work platform or temporary work platform as well as falling from ground level into holes. Developing a fall hazard assessment checklist entails recognizing potential hazard within the workplace and assessing the effectiveness of current safety measure. Secondly, it is important to assess the potential risk of falls as there was an incident at V-Mart supermarket involving a hazard related to falling when a worker was repairing the air conditioning using a ladder with no proper protective equipment PPE. There is a significant risk of injury when performing tasks at height greater than 2 meters, which can lead to dangerous fall. Next, it is important to conduct a full risk assessment for potential slip hazard involving pedestrian, taking into consideration factors such as access, footwear, and behavior. Finally, it is important for employers to take measures to prevent slip risk and falls in the workplace. It is to avoid any potential risk by completing the task either on the ground or from a stable structure. On the other hand, it is important to organize and schedule work so that people do not interfere with or increase the risk of a fall for themselves or other employees. In this slide, we will be looking at the fall hazard control. Firstly, it is vital to prioritize the management of falling hazard to create a safe environment, be it in the workplace, at home, or in the public spaces. For instance, there were several boxes close to the worker who was carefully climbing the ladder to do work at a high level. Adjusting the floor space can greatly contribute to ensuring safety from tripping and falling. Next is ensuring worker safety is the highest priority when it comes to dealing with falling hazard from height. One critical component in achieving this is the use of personal protective equipment PPE. For instance, safety footwear, including safety boots or shoes, is recommended as these footwear items must be resistant and durable soles to slip and falls. Lastly, providing employees with training and education regarding falling hazard to emphasize the importance of a mindful mindset. Thus, implementing the necessary safety precaution and identifying potential fall hazard with the assistance of fall hazard assessment checklist is highly recommended at every workplace.
Greetings everyone, my name is Gayatri Gopal. My metric number is 279294. I will present about ergonomic hazard in the V-Mart supermarket. Ergonomic hazard refers to all physical conditions in the workplace that can lead to short or long-term injuries or health problems for employees. An ergonomic hazard is also primarily related to repetitive motions, static body postures or awkward postures, and excessive force, which can lead to the three major ergonomic injuries in any work environment, such as cumulative trauma disorders, repetitive strain injuries, and musculoskeletal disorders. Based on our observation in the V-Mart supermarket, the employees are exposed to ergonomic hazards by stocking shelves and lifting heavy goods using manpower alone without using any lifting tools. These tasks requires them to repeatedly bend, reach, and lift heavy goods to the high shelves, which can expose them to potential musculoskeletal injuries. The repetitive lifting motions without proper lifting guideline can strain the muscles and joints of the employees' backs, shoulders, and arms. In addition, the employees are also strained excessively to lift the heavy goods from the heavy boxes and push them with force to place them on the higher shelves in the supermarket. These actions can lead them to potential ergonomic hazards such as painful muscle strains. I will continue the risk assessment of ergonomic hazard in the V-Mart supermarket. According to the risk assessment matrix, catastrophic injuries are very critically likely to happen among employees. As evidence, excessive effort in lifting and pushing heavy loads of goods can lead to musculoskeletal disorders such as major injuries or permanent disorders to the muscles. The moderate level of injuries that can cause neck pain, soreness, and stiffness from ergonomic hazard is highly likely to happen among employees. However, minor and superficial injuries that need first aid treatment are moderately likely to happen in the V-Mart supermarket. To identify the risk level of ergonomic hazards, three main steps can be conducted to assess the risk of ergonomic hazards in the V-Mart supermarket. The first step is identifying. The identification step for assessing ergonomic hazards in the V-Mart supermarket can be done by observing the tasks, work environment, and work processes in the supermarket. Moreover, the observation of how the employee's daily work activity is conducted, whether using lifting equipment or manpower alone in the supermarket. Based on our observation, the employees in the V-Mart supermarket are not using any lifting tools, which leads them to high risks of ergonomic hazards such as lower back pain, injury, discomfort, and fatigue. Thus, the ergonomic hazard risk in the supermarket should be frequently identified by checking adequate equipment and employees following procedures to lift the heavy load of goods properly. The second step is analyzing and assessing the risk of ergonomic hazard in the V-Mart supermarket. In the analysis and assessing process of ergonomic hazard, inspection on incident records, employee sickness absence reports, and health surveillance reports can be used to easily analyze the very likely risks that occur from ergonomic hazards. Moreover, ergonomic hazard risk assessment can also be done by gathering feedbacks from employees by using questionnaires and reviewing their injury reports. The injury data and records, which are assessed by ranking the severity of the injury, will be helpful in giving proper treatments to the employees. For minor ergonomic injuries, first aid can be used as a treatment, and for major injuries such as permanent disorders to the muscles, joints, and nerves, the employees should be hospitalized. In order to assess and prevent ergonomic hazard, the supermarket management should provide knee pads for employees, especially during kneeling tasks while picking up and arranging heavy loads on the high shelves to prevent them from the risk of ergonomic hazard. The third step in risk assessment of ergonomic hazard is evaluating. The evaluation step can be conducted to evaluate any risks from the exposure of ergonomic hazards that are associated with the workplace of the V-Mart supermarket. In the evaluation process, the data collected from the analysis and assessing process should be prioritized risks according to the risk rating matrix. Next, the evaluation process of ergonomic hazard risk also can be done by an ergonomic specialist visiting the supermarket to evaluate their workstation, work environment, equipment used for goods lifting, and body posture during lifting heavy goods activity in the supermarket. Two types of risk controls that can be conducted to control the risk of ergonomic hazard in the V-Mart supermarket. The risk control measures for ergonomic hazards in the V-Mart supermarket includes both engineering controls and administrative controls. The engineering controls may involve providing lifting equipments such as trolleys to lift and reposition heavy loads on the high shelves to limit force exertion. In addition, redesign of workstations and work areas also can be done to eliminate the chances for bending, reaching the high shelves or other awkward postures to arrange the goods in the supermarket. By these engineering controls, the employees can easily prevent themselves from ergonomic hazards and can eliminate the existing risk in their workplaces. The second risk control is administrative control. In administrative control, the management can establish a procedure by setting two employees to lift the heavy loads to reduce the exhausting work for their employee. This procedure will ensure the reduction in individual workloads and prevent the employee from repetitive strain injuries. Next, the supermarket management can also provide the employees adequate training on safe working postures, heavy load lifting techniques, and the safe use of lifting devices such as trolleys in the workplace to reduce the exposure of ergonomic hazard risks. Most importantly, the supermarket management should take the initiative by storing the heavy objects at waist height to prevent ergonomic hazards. By this administrative control, the supermarket management can ensure a safe working environment for their employees, especially in arranging huge amounts of heavy loads of goods in the supermarket.
Good day, Doctor. I'm Shamla Devi, NCO Sangren, matrix number 279627. Today, I would like to present about electrical hazard. What is electrical hazard? Electrical hazard is defined as a serious hazard because it could cause burns, injuries, electric shock, electrocution, fire, and also explosion. Electric hazard is a serious workplace hazard also. So, this electrical hazard can happen in V-Mart because every electrical equipment are connected to the main supply. For example, damage to an ice cream freezer in the V-Mart can cause electric shock. This is because door seals at the end of the freezer lid were made of metal and metal can attract electricity. So, when the main supply has problem, it will directly affect the ice cream freezer and can cause electrical shock to the workers and also to the customers who place their hands on the door seal. Next, I would like to talk about electrical hazard risk assessment. The first way to know risk assessment is to identify hazard. Electric shock might happen in V-Mart because of the changes in the voltage from the main supply to the electrical equipment in V-Mart. Proper maintenance is needed or required to repair those electrical equipment to avoid electric shock. Poorly maintained electrical equipment can pose a serious hazard other than electric shock to the workers and also to the customers. Next step is assessing the risk. The risk of an electrical hazard can be assessed by ranking the severity of the injuries. For minor injuries, first aid can be used. Secondly, for the reversible harm, such as burns, medical attention is needed. Severe injuries such as electric shocks require hospitalization and fatalities immediately require checking, first aid and also hospitalization. This is because this situation is life-threatening. The risk is very high even though the hazard is not severe in certain situations. To minimize the risk, workers should always be alert to the electric equipment in the workplace. Also, the customers always need to be aware of the electrical equipments in the places where they shop. Moving on to the third step in the electrical hazard risk assessment, which is implementing control. An effective approach should be taken after the identification of hazard and also after the risks are assessed. Workers and customers need to be aware of the electrical equipment in the V-Mart. Before touching the freezer, which is the ice cream freezer, they need to be ensured it is safe by seeing whether there are any wet conditions or any burns from the freezer. This way can avoid electrical hazards from happening. The risk can be controlled when the workers pay more attention to the electrical equipment by informing to the management to check the equipment if there is anything wrong. This way can help to reduce electrical hazard from happening in V-Mart. Next is electrical hazard control. There are various ways of protecting people from the hazards caused by electricity. First of all, the electrical appliance can be grounded and also can be guarded. Also, the management should reach out to the technicians or other people with expertise to inspect the wiring of the electrical equipment. If there are any damaged items identified, the technicians can replace them with the new ones. Also, management should give training to their workers by explaining to them what to do and what not to do when the workers use electrical equipment in the workplace. For the workers in V-Mart, whenever the workers arrange ice cream in the ice cream freezer, they should only use one end. It is safe to only use one end and to keep another end away from the conductive metal like the freezer door seals. That is all from me for electrical hazard in V-Mart. Thank you.
My warmest greetings to everyone. I'm Arthani Prasad. My metric number is 284971. Today I would prefer to explain about psychosocial hazard, which is one of the hazards our group found in V-Mart. Psychosocial hazards refer to the aspects of the workplace and its social environment that have the potential to cause psychological or social harm to employees. These hazards can impact the mental health, well-being, and overall job satisfaction of the employee. There are two types of hazards in V-Mart based on our observation. The first one is job instability and organizational change. This can indeed stir up a lot of stress and uncertainty. It's like navigating through the copy waters. You can never know what the next wave of change might hit. The second one is as the understanding work demands differently. That adds on extra layer of complexity. People have diverse perspectives and abilities, and accommodating those differences can be challenging but necessary for the healthy workplace. Let's move on to the psychosocial hazard risk assessment. During our observation at V-Mart supermarket, we delve into the intricacies of task, work environment, and processes. Our key concern revolve around the prevalent issue of job instability and organizational changes, which seem to cast a shadow over the workforce. Interestingly, the impact of these challenges varied across different age groups, with individuals displaying diverse health condition and coping abilities. For the assessing and analyzing part, the comprehensive analysis employed a spectrum of evaluation techniques ranging from production assessment and absence rates to valuable employee feedback. Various tools such as moral assessments, customer feedback, focus group interviews, audits, surveys, and also incident reports contributed to a holistic understanding of the prevailing issues at VMAT. One striking revelation was the variability in employees' compression of work demands and notable lack of support. The critical step in risk assessment is the evaluating stage, which involves a focused examination of the severity and likelihood of the identified hazard. At VMAT, the specific risks were highlighted with persistently and recurrently managed to changes posing higher threats. The consideration of the physical environment's impact, coupled with concerns about bullying and harassment, underscored the multi-faced nature of the challenges faced by the workforce among the employees. In response to the immediate concern, recommendations were made for the situation with a moderate likelihood of causing harm. The urgency of addressing job instability impact on physical and mental health, recognizing varying employee capabilities and emphasizing clear communication and support emerged as crucial focal points for combating risk at the women. Based on our discussion, we figure out some possible ways to control psychosocial hazard in women. The first way is develop resilience. Fostering personal and team resilience is a strategy to focus on promoting openness and candid conversation among the team members. By encouraging a forum for open communication, individuals are prompt to share their worries, which will contribute to a supportive environment that enhance the overall resilience. This strategy aims to create a culture where the both personal and collective well-being are prioritized. Besides that, to tackle the uncertainty in organizational change, the emphasis is on maintaining the open communication. By fostering transparency and honesty about the company changes, employees are better to equip the understand rationale behind the shifts, which ultimately reducing the uncertainty. This strategy also advocates for the creation of the flexible work environment, offering remote work opportunities for those employees who needed it, and flexible schedules to the further ease the impact of the organizational changes. Furthermore, promoting reporting and early action focuses on creating a culture where staff members feel encouraged to report their concerns and worries without any fear of consequences. Establishing secure private channels for reporting and conducting frequent evaluations of workplace connection and also the interaction may contribute to a proactive approach in identifying and addressing potential issues before they get spread widely. Besides that, in addressing psychosocial hazards, the strategy revolves around training and development. Providing adequate training not only enhances the employee abilities and also the productivity, but it also ensures access to necessary tools and resources. This proactive approach aims to prevent stress and dissatisfaction stemming from inadequate resources, thereby mitigating psychosocial risk in the workplace among the employees. Lastly, the most easiest way is fostering empathy in the workplace. This achieved by encouraging staff members to comprehend and consider with their peers' viewpoints and perspectives. This strategy seeks to create a sympathetic and understanding environment that incorporates both human behavior and organizational policy in a proactive manner. By emphasizing empathy among the employees, the workplace becomes a more compassionate space that acknowledges and values the diverse perspectives of each members.
In conclusion, V-Mart University Utara Malaysia faces 5 identified hazards: sleep hazard, fall hazard, electric hazard, ergonomic hazard, and psychosocial hazard. All these hazards posing potential risk of injury to workers. The responsibility for ensuring a safe workplace environment lies with both employers and employees. Employees must work safely and use equipment responsibility to prevent any injuries. Employers play a crucial role in creating a secure workplace by providing training to raise awareness of hazard and risk, contributing to overall safety and well-being of the workforce. That's all. Thank you.